All right, welcome back everybody to a brand new video here on the second channel. Today we're looking at this week's online tournament results here as we head into the Milwaukee Regionals. This weekend we're going to look at what decks are winning in the recent online tourneys, if there's any cool decks doing well, or if there happens to be any meta developments here, what new tech cards and stuff are people putting in their archetypes. We have quite a few tournaments actually to look at. Usually I look at like 6 or whatever, but in this video, it's got like 7 or 8 tourneys we're going to be looking at here, so strap in. We got a lot of decks to look at, and hopefully there's some cool stuff that's winning in some of these tournaments. Before we get in the video, though, if y'all are new here to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below. We're on the road to 23,000 subscribers here, and leave a like on the video if you go on to enjoy, and I'll leave a link to play.limitless in the description if you want to go play in any of these online tournaments for yourself. So, starting things off here, we do have the Gray's Poke League, which was won by Dragapult. No surprise to BDIF, but it was, of course, won by the Dusknor Dragapult deck, the Straight Pult deck, as it's called. Again, this is the deck that's been doing the best recently with all the Dragapult variants, and I think this one will continue to do well in Milwaukee. Nothing too crazy in this build. It's got the Genesect and everything in there. It was able to go 10-1. It beat a Dragapult in the finals. It was a mirror match, but this Straight Pult list had a Maractus in it and the Latias, so it was a little bit of a different build. The Maractus can be sneakily annoying because they can trap you, and that can be pretty bad. So you can definitely get a lot of value out of Maractus's corner there. There's a Guardian top 4. It was pretty classic Guardy. It did have a Genesect in the deck. I've seen that Genesect and Guardy has been seeing a little bit of play recently because it does help a lot against Dragapult and Goldango, which are like the other two big decks right now. So it makes sense that the Genesect be in there. We'll have to see if that actually translates into Milwaukee or not. And then we have a Goldango in top 4 here. It was a Goldango Scizor with a Klefki. So from what I've been told is that Klefki is good against Dragapult because, or against Genesect anyways, because you can use the Klefki to stop Genesect's ability so that you can play eSearch Pro. I'm not convinced on it yet because you need to make sure that you put something else in the active spot. See, the problem is like Klefki has to be in the active. So like theoretically, the turn you're getting unfair stamped, your active is going to be a Goldango EX anyways. Unless your opponent knocks something else out and then you get to promote Klefki, it's probably not going to happen. So I'm not convinced on Klefki yet as a Pokemon. Like, you're going to get stamped, and you have to rely on that Klefki to find you. Like, you have to find a switch, and then eSearch Pro. I don't know. It's interesting, though. This build has Scizor in it, which I don't hate either. We had a Terapagos deck here in the top 8. Again, this deck, I do feel like, is on the decline right now. It doesn't have the best matchups into Guardian Dragapult, but still, like, not the worst deck ever. It can be Terrabox, and I think there might be a little bit more hype for Terrabox going into Milwaukee. We'll have to see on that one. We have a Joltik box in top 8. Another deck that's been doing good in tournaments, both regionals and online tourneys. This build has that Gravity Mount in the deck for the Stage 2 Pokemon for Pikachu. We have another Goldango in top 8 here. This one was the Dunsparce build, and it also had a Scizor in the deck for the extra attacker, which again, I don't hate the idea of having Scizor in the deck. You have the 2 Levencia and Jamming Tower, so a lot of stadiums in this build here of Goldango. Cool stuff. And then finally, round out the top 8 of this tourney, there was another Joltik Pikachu toolbox deck here. Yeah, pretty good stuff. So that was this top 8. Pretty, like, normal top 8. Just kind of all just the standard stuff we're used to seeing do well in this format. We're going to move on to the Card Temple tournament. This is where things get spicy. So the winning deck was the Roaring Moon Poison deck. So another deck that I think is fairly strong right now is this deck. Kind of underrated, to be honest with you. I think it's a decent little, like, anti-meta rogue style deck where you can do a lot with the poison package with the Roaring Moon. You have Insta KO Frenzy Gouging, and then you have the poison with the Peck Crunch, knock out little Pokemon. You can donk your opponent, obviously. It was able to win the tournament. It actually ended up beating Hydrapple EX in the finals. So Hydrapple made it to finals in an online tournament. That's kind of cool. This is the first time I think we've seen a Hydrapple deck maybe do well. It's a pretty interesting list here. It's playing a bunch of Diplins, very heavy count of Diplin, 3 Diplin. It's got 3 Hydrapple, 4 Tailmask. It's also playing Legacy Energy as the spec, and there's a Zarude in the deck here with the attack Jungle Whip, which allows you to do 80 damage. You can put all the energy on this Pokemon back in your hand to do 80 more damage. So I guess this can attack Cornerstone Ogerpon. You put the energy in your hand. I guess the idea is, like, you use Hydrapple's ability to then reattach the energy to the Zarude, which, yeah, that makes sense. It's an interesting idea for sure. It's a cool concept. Yeah, Hydrapple making finals, kind of cool. There was also Joltik in top 4. Once again, pretty strong deck. Not surprised seeing in top 4. This one's got 3 Gravity Mountains, so it's like very heavy on the mountains there for the Pikachu. Kind of crazy. And then top 4 here, we had a Future Hands decks. So 2 different style of Iron Hands decks here. We have the Joltik deck, and then we have the other one, the Miraidon Future deck. So I don't think this deck is as good as Joltik because you don't have as many options, right? You're not playing Pikachu, you're not playing, all the other guys. But this deck does have a little bit more power because of Ampy very much being able to be a little bit more stronger, being able to take one-hit kills with Arm Press a little bit easier with Iron Crown. It does make the deck a little bit deadlier. It's just maybe not as good as Joltik Box, but it's still got top 4, which is cool to see. We got a Mamoswine here in the top 8 also. Looks like it was the Blaziken Pidgeot build of Mamoswine. We see Grand Tree being the ace-spec there. We have other stuff like Black Belt in the deck, but we also have the Luxray. Pretty normal stuff you'd see in the Mamoswine decks. I got top 4. And then to round out the top 8, it's just all Joltik. All Joltik. Yeah, this one got Gravity Mountain in there. We have another Joltik deck here. A lot of Joltik. More than half of the top 8 of this tournament was Joltik, which is kind of crazy. That just proves this deck is pretty good. I mean, it's been getting good results in regionals, online tournaments here too. It's like, clearly the deck is legit. We just have to see it have a good breakthrough performance at like a big regional. Next up, we got the Sunny's Weekly here, which was won by the Flareon Toolbox deck. I think this deck's pretty underrated too. Flareon is a really good card right now against a lot of decks. And then you get access to Sylveon, which can be very annoying and disruptive. So the deck's good and won the tournament. It does have a Wellspring in there, so you can use the Torrential Pump a little bit easier, which makes sense. You get a little bit more sneaky plays with that. It was able to beat Hobbsation in the finals. Hobbsation with Melmetal, though. Okay, interesting idea. Yeah, I don't hate it. I mean, seems like a decent idea to build up Hobbsation. It makes your Hobbsation a lot more aggressive because you can like get a bunch of Matangs down and then build up the Zacian. Did I say Melmetal, by the way? I might have said Melmetal, not Matang. When I mentioned the deck. But anyway, Matang is Hobbsation. I like it. It's a very straightforward list. Just 4 Research, 4 Iono, 3 Boss, 4 Post-Pick, 4 Choice Band. I mean, you just got to go all in. Honestly, one thing with this deck, you can actually attack with Snorlax because you're playing Metal Energies and Matang. You can actually just build up Snorlax if you want, which is kind of cool. So they can't even reliably like stick Snorlax in the active. We have a Goldengo Dragapult here in the top 4. Not surprised to see that. The deck's also really good. This is probably the best way to play Goldengo right now. If I'm to be honest with you, it's a pretty good deck. See what else we had in the top 4 here. It was another Joltik deck. Look at that. A couple more Joltiks here in the top 4. Top 8. Another Joltik here. Yeah, not surprised to see this. Joltik just winning a lot right now. It's doing pretty good. Again, we'll probably see it have like a decent performance in Milwaukee. I think that'll impact how the deck does going forward. We have a Hydreigon in top 8. So Hydreigon's another deck that seems decent right now. And it was the build here with like the Pidgeot, the Klefki, the Maractus and stuff. I did a video on this build a week or 2 ago. It also has a Genesect in there. I don't hate it. I mean, helps against Unfair Stamp, helps against Goldengo. Which I feel like you can beat Goldengo with Hydreigon. You just need to like be ready to like have the Genesect. But I like it. Hydreigon's really strong and I want it to do better, man. I think it's a fun deck for sure. We had a Guardian top 8. Pretty simple stuff. And then to round out this top 8, we did have a Dragapult Dusknoir, so still seeing a little bit of play here. Looks like you see the Hedrick build here, like the 2 researches. All right, so that was the top 8 of this tournament. We can move on to the Pumpkin Amy tournament here, which the winning deck was Charizard of all decks. Kind of crazy to see Charizard win. We see it's playing Gouging Fire, Monkey Dory's in the deck, Shiyu. It's a little bit more teched out. It's got Hero's Cape as the ace-spec. I mean, Charizard is good in theory. It's just, again, just not able to really beat Dragapult and stuff, but I like this deck. Like, in theory, it can beat a lot of stuff right now. It just, we have to make it consistent and able to set up Charizard. But it was able to win the tournament, which, I mean, it's kind of cool to see. It did beat Goldengo in the finals, which I guess makes sense. It's not the worst matchup for Goldengo because you can kind of trade a bit more evenly into them because they don't have a Radiant Charizard anymore. But if Charizard gets that Shiyu play off with an Iono, it can be pretty tricky. Yeah, cool. And there was another Goldengo Scizor with that Klefki, so like the list we saw earlier. It might be the exact 62. So that's kind of cool to see. Then we have a Flareon deck here in the top 4. The Unfair Stamp. Looks like the build we saw from Atlanta. Cool stuff. And then Dragapult also in the top 4 here. Dragapult Pidgeot in the top 4. All right, that's cool. I like it. Pidgeot's pretty cool. If you get that thing out, it makes your deck a lot more consistent, so that's cool. Then we have another Joltik deck here in the top 8. Just doing pretty good. Pretty cool deck. And then we have a Slacking in top 8 here. It's kind of cool. It was a Terra Slacking deck. I like it. So use the Terra Box engine to build up your Slacking. You can use Crispin to build it up. You have Noctowl to find Rare Candy Slacking if you want. Slacking is a pretty heavy hitter, too. You get a little bit more of a power boost. Is it better than playing Pikachu, though, is the question, because they kind of do similar things where they just do big damage. But then you got the Wellspring in the deck, too, for the bench snipe shenanigans. Got Clefairy in there for Dragapult and stuff. I don't hate it. Seems pretty cool. We got another Deepult here in top 8, another build with no Dusknoir. Then round things out here, another Gardevoir. There's a Fluttermane in this build, so that's interesting. So that was this online tournament. So some cool stuff. Charizard won it. We had Slacking in the top 8. Pretty crazy stuff. All right, let's go to the Ditto Together tournament. Raging Bull was able to win this online tournament. Not surprised to see Raging Bull win. It's a good deck. It's pretty solid, pretty strong. It's got a Judge in here for some hand disruption over playing Iono, which can be good. Our early Bellowing Thunder Judge can be pretty deadly. It was able to beat Dragapult Dusknoir in the finals, which is pretty crazy. I mean, it's possible that they just kind of ran them over really quickly. That's the one thing you get with playing Raging Bolt against Dragapult is if Dragapult kind of has a slower start or their Budew doesn't really land, you're just able to just run them over before they really get a chance to play the game and set up. So that's neat. Another Guardian top 4 here. This one did play Fluttermane and double Drifloon, so really heavy on the Drifloon and have the Fluttermane in there too, which is interesting. And then we had another Hydreigon in top 4, so multiple Hydreigon here in these online tournaments making top 8. So one looks similar to the one we looked at. Had the Maractus in there. It's got Klefki. It's got the Genesect in there. Yeah, cool. I mean, Hydreigon doing good. It's always nice to see. Is the deck real, though, is the question, because there's 2 so far. There's an Okidogi deck here. That's cool. An Okidogi Poison deck. So we see the Loyal 3 style deck here perform well. It does have all the Loyal 3s in it, except it's just not playing Monkey Dory. EX is playing the one-price Monkey Dory, which is infinitely better. I like the Loyal 3. I mean, I did a video on this deck during the Prismatic meta, and I was like, this deck's pretty decent right now, and I still stand by the fact this deck is probably not bad. You have a lot going for you. You can run over Dragapult fairly easily with some poison damage. You have a lot of power behind you. You have Peck Grunt for donk potential. This deck seems really decent. Like, I actually like it. I think Poison... this Poison build seems good. I think the Loyal 3 is not a bad deck right now. Maybe I'll make a video on it soon. I don't know. I like it. Doesn't seem terrible versus, like, Poltengardy. And maybe even, well, I don't know about, well, it can be Goldengo. Speaking of which, yeah, we got Goldengo Dragapult here also in the top 8 in this tournament. And then, what is that? Another Hydrapple? Oh, my goodness. That's 2 Hydrapples making top 8. Yo, that's not a coincidence. Another Hydrapple. Looks like it's the same build we saw get second place. It's got this root in there. The Legacy Energy is A-Spec triple. Diplin, it's probably the same 60. That's cool, man. The Hydrapple doing well. You love to see it. And then finally, in round of the top 8, there's a Dragapult Dusknoir deck here with Pidgeot and Neo Upper Energy. A lot of stadiums. Gaming Tower, Headquarters, and Artisan. So kind of goes back to like the old approach to Dragapult. That's cool to see. That was the top 8 of this tournament. So another Hydreigon deck. And then we move on to this one here, which was won by Hops Zacian with the Monkey Dory in there. So yeah, just the more like classic spread approach. It's got the Maractus in there, the Monkey Dory and stuff. Did beat Frostlass in the finals. Yep, cool stuff. I mean, it makes sense. Does it make sense, actually? Is Hops Zacian favored to Frostlass? Probably, right? You can just aggressively attack them. And you just have to play around Blood Moon and be ready for it. But cool stuff to see. The Frostlass still do well. Pretty simple build here. It's got the Budew and the Maractus in there. Nothing too crazy. There's another Frostlass in top 4 here. Pretty similar build. Just playing the Budew and the Maractus and stuff. So that's cool. Yeah, Frostlass doing well. The sun is kind of sick to see. And then once again, there's another Joltik in the top 4 here. A lot of Joltik, man. This deck seems legit. Again, it has to have a breakout performance in Milwaukee, I think, for it to solidify that it's a real deck. All right. We do have the Dragapult Dusknoir here once again. All right, cool stuff. Move on to the next deck, which was Flareon. Another Flareon toolbox here. It's got the Unfair Stamp in there and stuff like that. So that's cool. All right. We got a Goldengo, a Dunsparce here doing pretty good. Nothing too crazy in this build, just classic Goldengo Dunsparce. I like it. A lot of energy. And we got the Search Pro. And, all right, cool. Yeah, I like it. All right, what else do we got here? Another Charizard in top 8. Another Charizard Pidgeot. All right, this one doesn't have as many attackers, but it does have the Shiyu still. And then it plays Maximum Belt as the A-Spec. I like Max Belt. I think it's the best A-Spec for Charizard, just because you can do a lot of damage with it against Dragapult and against like Goldengo and Archaladon stuff. Comes up quite often. So that was the top 8 of this tournament. Finally, we got the Redacted Evolutions tournament here, which was also then won by a Flareon deck. So Flareon did win 2 online tourneys this week. Again, I think the deck's real. I don't think enough people are really playing it right now over like Terrabox and Raging Bull. I think the deck is very good though still. So not surprised to see it. And it was able to beat Raging Bolt in the finals, which makes sense. The matchup's probably pretty favored for Flareon, I want to say. Maybe be 50-50. Probably a fan Rotom more, to be honest with you, until you put the first two prizes down. But Flareon does have Briar, which helps. And then we have another Hydreigon. So 3 Hydreigons here in top 8 of these tournaments, man. It's crazy. This one placed a Pidgeot stuff. There's no Genesect or Klefki in here. Does have a lot more supporters, though. 2 Jock, 2 Crispin. But yeah, I love to see him, man. A lot of Hydreigon. I mean, again, Hydreigon doesn't seem terrible right now with all the Guardian Dragapult running around. Seems like it's one of its better matchups. We had a Terra Box deck here. Also do decent, pretty simple Terra Box. Bill's got Jamming Tower in there. It's got the Cornerstone Ogre Pawn. I like it. And then we got Dragapult. Once again, top 8. The straight pull list, the Halucha, and the Genesect and the Monkey. Then we had another Charizard here. This one was Charizard Charapagos Noctowl. I like this build too. It just, again, it struggles a lot against Budu, which is what holds it back, but it's pretty strong and fairly consistent at what it wants to do, just because the Noctowl engine's a little bit easier to use right now than what Pidgeot used to be in the past format. Guardian made top 8 here, also pretty normal build. And then finally, we had a Blissey in top 8. Pretty normal build, like the one we saw Fernando play. The 4 monkeys, got the Cornerstone and the Roaring Moon in there. So that's cool. Seeing Blissey still make the top 8 is cool. I'll have to see if Blissey can perform well in Milwaukee. And then finally, we got the Jesters tournament here. Once again, being won by Flareon. So yeah, Flareon did win a lot of online tourneys this week. That's pretty interesting. We'll have to see if more like big players pick it up for Milwaukee. There's a chance it does happen. There's a chance we see some big names on Flareon this upcoming weekend, but you never know. And the deck is legit that good. It was able to beat Guardian in the finals, which is interesting. I think this matchup could be close. Sylveon probably does a lot of the heavy lifting. Scarlet is interesting. It's playing 2 Arvin and 2 Team Evo, help get the double Kirlia down. I don't hate that idea. We got a Poison Archalet on here in the top 4. Now, this build does play a Monkey Dory, which I don't hate the idea of, and a Dialga. Dialga does have the attack Metal Blast, so it's basically just like your Cornerstone attacker. That's the idea of it. You can put 3 energy on it to do 160. Yeah, Binding Mochi Poison gets the job done, I guess, against Cornerstone. Another Raging Bolt here in the top 4 in this tournament. And then some other stuff. We have more Straight Bolt here. No Genesect, though, in that build. And then, going to the next tournament, there's another Dragapult Dusknoir here. And then, below that, once again, another Hydreigon. So that was 3 Hydreigon decks in top 8 of these online tournaments this week. Crazy to see. This Hydreigon build plays the Clefairy, sorry, the Klefki, and has the Genesect in the deck also, and the Maractus Monkey Dory. So a lot of, like, tech cards here, but maybe that's what makes Hydreigon work, is, like, have all these old tech cards in it. It makes the deck a lot more stronger and consistent. I don't hate it. Really cool stuff. 3 Hydreigon in the top 8 of these tournaments is honestly crazy. I was not expecting that. A lot of Hydreigon, man. Could that mean it's due to get a Griselda Milwaukee? I don't know. Again, we just need to see, like, good players play it for that to happen, I feel like. Like, top players need to pick it up. And then we have finally round things out, another Dragapult Dusknoir. And there you go. That was this week's online tournament results. Some takeaways. We saw a lot more Hydreigon. 3 Hydreigon decks. Hydrapple. Also, a lot of the Hydra decks. Yo, Hydra going crazy right now. We saw a lot of the Flareon decks winning. Flareon did win 3 tournaments. Normal stuff we were seeing, like Dragapult, Gardevoir, Goldengo doing well. But once again, the trend continues where it's like Joltik Box is doing pretty good. So that's like my big question going into Milwaukee is Joltik Box going to have a breakthrough performance? I think it's due for one. I mean, it did get top 8 at Monterey, I know, but like at a major, like huge regional like Milwaukee where all the top players are going, where the meta is going to be a lot different than a smaller tournament like Monterey. So I'm curious to see if we're going to see Joltik continue this success and even Flareon continuing this success. I mean, Flareon's winning these tournaments, man. Like, clearly Flareon box is also due for a pretty big win soon, too, I think. And then maybe we'll see Hydreigon. Who knows? We saw a lot of Hydreigon in these online tournaments. Does that mean people are considering playing Hydreigon? Who knows? But that'll be for me on today's video. Once again, if you want to go play in any of these online tournaments for yourself, I'll leave a link to play.limitless down below. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Let me know what you thought of these online tournament results. And let me know if you'll be in Milwaukee this weekend. I'm going to be there. So, you know, I see you. And you see me. Don't be afraid to come up and say hi. Take a picture of me. All that good stuff. I like meeting fans. And, yeah, excited to compete this weekend. Low-key still haven't figured out what I want to play to the tournament yet, which is kind of sad. I got to hurry up and figure out what I want to play to Milwaukee. There's a few decks I'm sold on right now. Usually I like to play Goldengo, but I don't even know if I want to play Goldengo, man. I'm scared of Genesect, man. So I don't know. We'll see on that one. But I hope you enjoyed the video. Catch you all in another video. Bye-bye.